All right, you guys. So, Ticket TV, like, share, and subscribe as y'all tap on in. Appreciate everybody who's locked into the channel, man. Everybody who support the channel, man. Much love, honor, and respect. And let's get right into this video, man. Oh, also shout out to the girl Jennifer Menzies coming through with the, I think, $54 donation. Salute to you. I appreciate you. And the PayPal showing love. Much love to you. And I thank you for that. Let's get right into this. Breaking news just hit. Everybody knows that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, has been going at it on multiple levels uh, with different countries. He's been at it with Venezuela. He's been at it with Iran. Yesterday, he basically went on News Nation and threatened that if anything happened to him because he had threats against him and against his threats to erase him, and he basically said that if anything happens to him, he's already given orders to wipe uh, Iran off the face of the earth. And so he said that if anything happens to him, that's going to happen. But now we also know that he's been going at it with Greenland. He just went on a speech and basically thrashed the entire Denmark over the Greenland situation. And since he has did this, now this is what happened. And I'm going to play it right now.
As we mentioned, the president's push to seize Greenland is now hitting stocks and your 401ks. On Tuesday, the Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 dropped by around 2% over the threat of a trade war with Europe. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here with more. Jill, good to see you.
Good morning.
All right, so this was the worst trading day for all three averages since October. What happened?
Well, I think investors are really taken aback once again by the uncertainty unleashed over the weekend. This is really slightly different than what we saw during Liberation Day because there is a sense that the global world order that relies on rules is being broken. And we heard Mark Carney, who is the Prime Minister of Canada, come out at Davos saying, hey, we middle powers have to come together. I thought the quote that he said was pretty interesting. Middle powers must act together because if we are not at the table, we are on the menu. And I think investors are really freaked out by this, that there could be some fracturing in the world order. This causes them to sell stocks. They sold bonds, which pushes interest rates up. They sold the U.S. dollar, and they fled to safety in gold, which reached a new record high yesterday.
And if the president follows through with the 10%, the threat of the 10% tariffs, and normally he follows through on his threats, what do you think would be the impact on the economy and for the consumer?
Well, I think for the economy, it's Europe that will suffer more. I think in the U.S., from the consumer perspective, we might take a little bit of a hit to growth, but it's about inflation. We might continue to see inflation remain at this 3%, maybe 3.2% level. That's much higher than the Fed wants. I think the other part for consumers that's very important here, you heard me mention that bonds sold off and Treasury yields went up. What does that mean? That means mortgage rates could start to rise, exactly what the president has been arguing against. And this is about supply and demand in the marketplace, not any sort of mantra that is being directed at the Fed.
Not mortgage rates. I mean, we're hoping for them to come down. Jill, I mean, I got to move. But what should people do in terms of guidance? Should they look to last year and how the markets reacted?
I think last year is instructive about not being reactive. Last year, we came in with the stock market very strong. We fell tremendously in April, down a lot. We were at a low of 19% off recent highs. From the April lows to the end of the year, the S&P 500 was up more than 37%, finishing the year at over a 16.6% return. Do not react. Tune out the noise. Stay the course.
I always say this,
but it worked last year.
It's hard not to freak out when you hear this kind of.
Okay, so freak out, but don't do anything.
Okay. All right.
So they're saying, first of all, that the U.S. stocks have sunk today because of the negative impact of this situation on with Donald Trump in Greenland. If you guys haven't paid attention, what happened in Greenland today? But I already know Mr. Bag Chaser over there. He ain't finna tell y'all nothing about this. That's not what he do. He just report one side of that story over there. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Bag Chaser. Yeah, that's what's up with that. But also, as I told you guys yesterday, right? There was also something else that happened, and I want to get into that right now. And it was two other situations that happened that went down. It was two other situations that went down. And one of the other situations that went down was this.
They're still burning thousands. There are reports that they're still burning thousands of protesters alive. They also issued an assassination threat against you over the weekend. I know that you can't talk about what's on the table, but what is your response to Iran's leadership and the regime continuing to taunt you, threaten you, especially given over the weekend you said it's time for new leadership in Iran?
Well, they shouldn't be doing it, but I've left notification. Anything ever happens, we're going to blow the whole country is going to get blown up. So we've, originally Biden should have said something. When they made a statement, we always said, why isn't Biden saying anything? Because
now I want y'all to think about what he just said, because I don't think people thought about this. He just said if something were to happen to him, he is going to erase an entire country. He's not going to look for the people who were responsible. No. Not that. He claims that he is going to delete an entire country if something happens to him. I want y'all to think about this. That's maniac talk. Maniac talk. An entire country, you got innocent people in the country. The same way you have in every country, there are innocent people. What sane person says, I'm going to erase an entire country if somebody messes with me? Not with all your people, but just with you. Put that on repeat again. I think y'all need to hear this. And y'all sitting up here capping for these politicians?
Leadership and the regime continuing to taunt you, threaten you, especially given over the weekend you said it's time for new leadership.
Not the citizens of the United States. You. Listen to what he said.
Well, they shouldn't be doing it, but I've left notification. Anything ever happens, we're going to blow the whole country is going to get blown up. So we've, originally Biden should have said something. When they made a statement, we always said, why isn't Biden saying anything? Because he didn't. But a president has to defend a president. Like if I were here and they were making that threat to somebody, not even a president, but somebody like they did with me, I would absolutely hit them so hard. But I have very firm instructions. Anything happens, they're going to wipe them off the face of this earth.
Now, think about what he just said right there. Now, you tell me this isn't dangerous talk that you're putting out here in the atmosphere, right? Now, when have you ever heard any other president, any other leader say, yo, I'm going to just wipe you off? I'm talking about, he said the entire country. Think about that. What he just said. He said, if something happens to me, I want y'all to think about that. He said, if something happens to me. Now, listen to this other part right here, where hundreds of thousands of federal workers were fired. Let's talk about this, because like I told y'all, bag chaser, right? Who got the LeBron James beard package and the Carl Winslow body? He won't tell y'all this.
Well, reflecting on his first term in office, the president says there's no comparison this time. The White House is firing on all cylinders, but despite racking up win after win, if the Democrats win the House in 2026, impeachment number 3 is most definitely on the table. America has a very big birthday this year, 250 years.
Right.
Have you ever thought about reflecting on the fact that you're the president now? George Washington was the president many, many years ago, and what that means for you as an American and what it means for the country.
Oh, it's so interesting because I was the president and we had a great election against Hillary Clinton. Then the next election was rigged like nobody's ever seen, and all the numbers are out, but they're coming out. It was 100% rigged. And the good part is this is such an important presidency, and I'm not sure I could have had the same impact if it were more normalized, because, you know, the impact is big. This has been a very important presidency. It's a much stronger presidency than the first term, and yet the first term we had, I rebuilt the military. I did things that were incredible in the first term. But this, I think, is blowing it away. It's going to blow it away. You know, there is somebody that you are very familiar with that wrote something. I won't mention names. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But they said that, but not somebody that necessarily would write well about me, said this is probably the best first year that a president has ever had. And if you look at that list that you have there, and that's a small version of it, but nobody's done more than we've done. You know, when the biggest tax cuts in history, the biggest regulation cuts in history, all of the military victories that we've had. I mean, we've really, and we're respected all over the world again. I mean, we were laughed at. Think of it. A year and a half ago, we were a joke. We were considered a joke as a nation. A year and a half ago, as the king of Saudi Arabia said, a year and a half ago, you were a dead nation. Now you're the hottest. We are the hottest nation anywhere in the world. And I love saying it. We are now the hottest nation anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. Is there something that you wanted to happen last year that didn't? Is there something that you think your administration could have done better? Well, last year, you mean last term? Last year, during your first year in your second term, or during your first term? So I would say this. I think we're clicking on all cylinders. I don't want to get greedy and say, oh, gee, I wish I could have done this. Crime is at an all-time low, despite the fact that we inherited many criminals from the Biden open border policy. So crime is at an all-time low. Our military is doing unbelievable. We are the most powerful military in the world. We showed that with Iran. If you look at the Iran nuclear attack, we knocked out their nuclear capability, which was a big thing, which led to peace in the Middle East. We actually had peace in the Middle East. Nobody thought that was possible. The recent Venezuela attack was incredible. No, from a military standpoint.
Venezuela attack was incredible. This is the words this guy's using. This is the words he's using. Attacking other countries and bothering other countries, which he said he wasn't going to do. See, Bag Chaser and all them people that follow this guy, they don't talk about this shit to y'all. If these politicians lie to y'all. I thought that we was minding our own business. But Bag Chaser, right, who got a cockeye and a LeBron James beard package, ain't finna tell y'all that this guy lied. Let's keep going. Just like all the other politicians before him. Liars, every last one of them.
Strategically, people have never seen anything like it. It's been amazing. So I don't think I can ask for it. The economy, we have the number one economy. We have the best economy we've ever had. And by the way, prices are coming way down. On the economy, you've made it clear that you want to transfer the U.S. economy from one that's based on federal government subsidies and employment to more of a private sector economy. Where are you in that transition process? Good. I mean, look, I hate to fire people, but we fired hundreds of thousands of federal employees because we had 10 people to do one job. And those people probably didn't like it very much. And now they're in the private sector and they're getting 2 or 3 times more money and they're doing well. And the only...
Now, I want to ask all the federal workers that got fired, did y'all get new jobs and y'all doing well? I want y'all to answer this question. To the hundreds of thousands of federal workers that got fired, lost your job, are you doing better than what you did when you had your job? Because Trump says they're doing better now. I'm just saying. Bag Chaser, is he telling y'all this? Is Bag Chaser telling y'all all these things? I'm asking. Or is he worried about his bag? Oh, braggadocious ass niggas. Like I said before, man, let's keep going.
A country can make it. You can't have too many government jobs because that's not a job that's going to, as we say, make America great again. So those people have now transitioned into the private sector. I could give you the greatest numbers ever. I'll just hire 1 million or 2 million federal workers tomorrow, and you'll see that we're going to be at 2.5% as opposed to 3% or 3.5%. You could do anything. That's what the Democrats do. They hire people to work in the federal government. Then they say they have good unemployment numbers, okay? I don't do that. And it's easy to do, and it looks good, but ultimately you can't build a country that way. Our country is doing unbelievably well. We have great unemployment numbers, and really, I mean, many of these people have transitioned already from the federal government into private jobs. You expressed some frustration earlier that your message of your accomplishments is not getting out.
Let's check that. He says unemployment is doing the best ever, right? That's what he's saying, right? I want y'all to see all this stuff that's going on, man. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. Is unemployment in the United States at an all-time low? Let's look that up right now. No, that's a lie. That is a lie. Unemployment in the United States is not currently at an all-time low. As of January 2026, the following data points define the current labor market in its historical standing. The most recent report, current rate, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the national unemployment rate is at 4.4% for December of 2025. This represents a slight decrease from 4.5% in November of 2025. The record low, historical record low for U.S. unemployment is 2.5%, which was reached in May of 1953. The current 4.4% rate is higher than levels seen in early 2023, when unemployment hit a 54-year low of 3.4%. Think about what I just said. Context for 2026. While the current rate, Bag Chaser ain't telling y'all this shit. All he want to do is argue, talking about he going to beat up Corey Holcomb. This type of shit they pushing. But he going to tell y'all that those guys are Neanderthals. But he running around here doing a world press tour, talking about what he would have did, he'd have beat a dude up, all this other shit, right? But he ain't telling y'all this. Let's keep going. I'm giving y'all actual, and I will drop the links to this information. Context for 2026. While the current rate is below the long-term historical average of 5.67, 2025 was characterized as having the quote-unquote weakest annual job growth since 2003, end quote, with only 584,000 jobs added throughout the year. And they're suspecting that the unemployment rate will be around 4.5% through this year. So no, that was a stone cold lie. Stone cold lie. Let me play that again. He just said this on the news last night. Stone cold lie.
And you'll see that we're going to be at 2.5% as opposed to 3% or 3.5%. Like, you could do anything. That's what the Democrats do. Jobs, because that's not a job that's going to, as we say, make America great again. So those people have now transitioned into the private sector. I could give you the greatest numbers ever. I'll just hire 1 million or 2 million federal workers tomorrow, and you'll see that we're going to be at 2.5% as opposed to 3% or 3.5%. Like, you could do anything. That's what the Democrats.
But he's not at 3.5%. Unemployment, y'all can all look this up right now. Unemployment in 2026 is currently at 4.4%. At the end of last year, it was at 4.5. Why is this guy lying? But Bag Chaser with the cock eyes, right? Won't tell y'all this. Think about what I just said to y'all. but he's a Christian Republican flying around the country with a woman that ain't his wife. Mr. Christian Republican bag chaser. This is what I'm saying. Calling black men Neanderthals, talking about he ain't black. All these politicians, for years after years after years after years, all these presidents, politicians on every side have just lied to the American people. Every last one of them. Barack Obama, liar. George Bush, liar. Joe Biden, big ass liar. Donald Trump, the biggest liar. Bill Clinton, habitual liar. I didn't have relations with that woman. But they got people crashing out on social media, playing y'all on both sides, when all these dudes is a bunch of stone cold liars.
So they hire people to work in the federal government, then they say they have good unemployment numbers, okay? I don't do that. And it's easy to do, and it looks good, but ultimately you can't build a country that way.
So what you did was you fired hundreds of thousands of workers. Straight up. Donald Trump admitted he fired hundreds of thousands of workers, federal workers. Talking about, man, they was all doing the same job.
Our country is doing unbelievably well. We have great unemployment numbers, and really, I mean, many of these people have transitioned to.
He says they have great unemployment numbers. The unemployment numbers are 4.4% right now. In 2003, they were in the 3-point percentage. So how is he doing the greatest thing? This dude lies in front of all y'all. And like I said, bag chaser with the itchy eye, who will call Corey Holcomb a Neanderthal, won't make no videos talking about this. And he'll say F that woman who lost her life in that situation with ICE. And y'all won't bat an eye. But if somebody go and snatch this dude's bank account, he'll be crying. Why? Because all they care about is money. It's okay to have money, but the pure, unadulterated love of money is the root of all evil. Mr. Christian Republican, that's a bag chaser, who the girl thought she was supposed to be going on the 5150 show, took a flight from DC to California when she wasn't even supposed to be on the show. Playing with, man, like I said before, man, y'all need to start calling these jokers out, man. Dudes playing with people's emotions and shit like that. Telling half stories. All these politicians are liars. Every last one of them. I can go down the line with all of them. I know I don't talk about this shit a lot, but you already know my ears is to the street. They all liars. And they'll do it because what has happened is people have pledged loyalty to either side. I heard D.L. Hewley sitting up there on the Culture Vulture show, DJ Vladimir. I heard D.L. Hewley sitting up there talking about but I tell you what, I tell you who wasn't in the Epstein files. Joe Biden, he wasn't in the Epstein files. Well, D.L. Hewley, you sitting up there bragging, talking about Joe Biden. He wasn't in the Epstein file. See, I'm telling you who wasn't in the Epstein file. See, I ain't see Joe Biden in the Epstein file. People are ashamed. I told y'all, they have linked themselves to, this is what they do. They literally made politics basically the streets. They got two gangs, red and blue, Democrat, Republican. People, I'm telling y'all now. I'm coming in here keeping it 1,000 with y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. I mean what I say. I mean what I say. Right? But he gonna sit up there and talk about some, yeah, man, I know who wasn't in the Epstein files. Yeah, man. Joe Biden wasn't in the Epstein files. Joe Biden didn't have to be in the Epstein files. D.L. Hewley, you capping ass, pick a side ass. Like I said before, pick the truth. Do Joe Biden need to be in the Epstein files when Lucy Flores in 2014 accused him of sniffing her hair, squeezing her shoulders, planting a slow kiss on the back of her head at a Nevada campaign event? She was a former state assembly candidate, and she described the feeling of being embarrassed and shocked, D.L. Hewley. Right? Look at this jabroni in the comment section. You're talking about a bunch of nothing. Then you must be deaf, sir. You must not be able to hear, sir. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the lies about the economy. I'm talking about putting your nose in other countries' business when we were supposed to stay out of wars. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs. I'm talking about a man who said, if they do something to me, I'm going to wipe out the whole country. I'm talking about a man who sat up there bragging about attacking two other countries. The hell is wrong with you, son? Get your shit together and learn. That was probably your problem. You didn't listen in class, boy. You was too busy doing the same shit I was doing, playing games. But see, when I got older, I got serious. Now back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted about D.L. Hewley capping ass. And this is what happens when they get y'all to lean to a side. Now, what do? You skew all your arguments to whatever side you on, whether you a Democrat or Republican side. That's why I told y'all, everybody keep coming on here talking about some, hey, Ticket Man, you need to vote. Our ancestors, man, you are programmed to think that. Think about this. Evil versus evil, any level is still evil. That don't make it right. Two wrongs don't make it right. But guess what will help correct the situation? If you stop voting for these bums. See, let me tell you something. I'm going to give y'all a perfect example. People got tired of all LeBron James shenanigans. You know what the fans did? Stopped voting for him, didn't vote for him starting the All-Star game. Now he ain't starting no more. They just didn't vote for him. Imagine if the people say, you know what, man? We also have a right to not vote. See, people forget that. They say, oh, man, your people vote. No, you have a right to not vote. If everybody set their ass at home because they said, you know what? Both of these sides that lost their damn mind and are corrupt. Guess what happens, y'all? Now they got to come up with new candidates because ain't nobody voting for the shit that they putting out here on the stage. Now you're going to have to open up the entire system for new candidates that don't represent either side. See, I'm cooking too well. I'm cooking too well. But you got maniacs like Bag Chaser on one side, D.L. Hewley on another side, and D.L. Hewley, like I said, he gonna sit up there on Vlad TV with a straight face talking about a man and Joe Biden who's supposed to be a leader of an entire country, but you're gonna let your son off when he was found guilty of crimes. But if that was anybody else's son as a leader, you wouldn't let them off. Selective politicking. You have to be able to make those tough decisions. It's just like a football or a basketball coach. If you the coach and it's another kid that tried out for the team and he's better than your bum ass son, and you being fair, you're supposed to cut your son and keep the dude that's better. Why? Because you're being a fair coach and you tell your son, hey, look, I love you. You wasn't good enough. Get your ass better. DL Hughley he ticked me off when he said that shit. I know one thing, Biden ain't in the Epstein files. Well, what about this woman, DL Hughley, Amy Lapos? In 2009, she said Joe Biden grabbed her head, rubbed noses like an Eskimo kiss at a Connecticut fundraiser while she was a congressional aide. And she said it felt awkward, right? Joe Biden's team described it as enthusiastic greeting. What about Vail Yount in 2013? She was a White House intern. She claimed that Joe Biden placed his hand on the back of her head, pressed foreheads together, and called her a pretty girl. I know somebody that ain't on the Epstein files, though. Joe Biden. That woman said she felt shocked and unequal. Joe Biden, he expressed regret for any unease. No legal action was taken in that, in none of those situations. What about DJ Hill in 2012? Said that Joe Biden rested a hand on her shoulder and ran it down her back at a Minneapolis fundraiser. She described it as making her feel very uncomfortable, part of a New York Times report on Biden's tactical politics. No legal action was taken on that. Let's keep going. What about Caitlin Caruso in 2016? She says that Joe Biden hugged her too long, placed his hand on her thigh after she shared her own assault story at a Delaware event. Diabolical work. But DL Hughley's running around here. That's why I try to tell y'all, they have sold out to either side. It's so much money in doing that. Why not just stay on the side of the truth? Why not do that? Joe Biden called that situation empathetic. This woman was a survivor. Let me say it again. Sophie Karesic in 2016 says that Joe Biden held hands, touched forehead, and pulled in close in a group photo at the Oscars with assault survivors. She felt it encroached on her space. Viral photo highlighted the issue, criticized Biden's 2019 apology. There was no legal action taken in that. Ali Cole, 2008. I'm asking y'all, all these women lying? She said Joe Biden draped her arm around her shoulders, pulled her close, whispered in her ear at a fundraiser while she was a college student. She felt like it was inappropriate due to the power dynamic, confided contemporaneously, and there was no legal action taken for that. You want me to keep going? You know, hey, look, I can do it like Q-Tip. I can go on and on and on and on and sweeter than Ben and Jerry's. I keep going on. Tara Reid, 1993. She claimed Joe Biden sexually assaulted her by pinning her against a wall in a Senate corridor, reaching under her skirt and digitally penetrating her. But DL Hughley gonna sit up there, one of the original kings of comedy, capping for Joe Biden. Come on, I know one person who ain't in the Epstein file. She was a former staff assistant. She alleged it occurred after delivering a gym bag. She said she reported the harassment, right? Crazy work. She said she confided with her family, friends at the time, right? Joe Biden denied it. He said it never happened. No charges. Like I said, man, yo, nigga, I was never capping, my nigga. All these dudes is weirdos, in my opinion. I'm just being honest with y'all. And what they do is they got all y'all hooked, one side or another. You got to pick a side. That's how they playing this game. So it ain't nothing but like the streets is. Y'all know how they got the Bloods and the Crips on the street, and it's like they try to use that and say, hey man, you got gang wars going on down here. We gotta do something to clean these streets up, but they don't want to clean the politicians up. But they're doing the same thing on a whole different level. But these people got enough power to go at other countries when they get in power, whether it's Democrats or the Republicans. Don't y'all think this should eradicate all party systems and just have individual people running for office? I'm just asking y'all a question. Why have none of these people told y'all this? Because there's no money for them in that. See, if you go to a Republican side and you're black and you got the gift of gab, like Bag Chaser with the LeBron James beard package, right? Looking like Carl Winslow. If you got the gift of gab, you got enough following, you can go on these Republican shows, you can get, man, you get your weight up. Or you could do what Hewley and them been doing since he really stopped doing stand-up comedy like that. Which is do Democrat talking points. Yeah, let me get behind the Democrats. All these people crazy as hell, if you ask me. That's the money on both sides. Campaign events, all of these different things you hear about, payments, alleged payments, and things like that. People backing people. I'm just trying to tell y'all this, man. We supposed to be, everybody come. I seen somebody come in this comment section last night talking about some ticket. But we got to do something, Iran, man. They're destroying their people. Are you out your mind? They're destroying their own people in the United States of America. Ain't doing shit about it. But you want me to your way in somebody else's country, bothering somebody else. The hell is wrong with you people? You can't even clean up your own streets. Some people done lost their damn mind running around here, man. They can miss me with it. Miss me with it, man. Oh, ticket. But don't you think we had to go to Venezuela? No, let them people deal with their own situation. We can be the police for everybody else except for us. We still haven't stopped violent crime in the street. Murder rate, robbery rate, unemployment rate, poverty rate. All of this shit still have not, but y'all worried about throwing people outside the country. But you ain't even dealt with your own situation. Somebody else get in trouble. We got money we got trillions of dollars. Think about what I'm saying to y'all. To throw at wars. But we ain't got this money to throw to all these people who ain't got shit to help build up our own country. People can't even walk into the hospital. Let me say this before I leave. Some people can't even, you could be damn near ready to drop dead, walk in a hospital and be rejected service. That is diabolical. What happened to common human decency? Then you get these dusty ass, fake ass bag chasers who only think about their money. That the common human decency element has been thrown out the window. Peep what I'm saying to y'all. Everybody getting played against each other, tricked out over these sides. They haven't even, some of y'all can't even go home without worrying about, am I going to get carjacked? Some of y'all can't even go to work without worrying about, is something going to happen in my kid's school today? Think about what I'm saying to y'all. People got to open their goddamn eyes and wake up. They can't even resolve the problem of safety at the schools, but gonna go to a whole nother country talking about we gonna fix this country. Are you out your damn mind? They better not never put me on the stage with any of these people. I'm walking them down out the water. Man, they're gonna sit up here and play these games, man. Cut it out. They can't even solve that problem. They can have all these military forces in all these other countries doing what? But they can't put one military person or at least two at every school to protect your youth? Make it make sense. I know I'm making too much sense. I know I'm making too much sense. Peep what they doing now. Hold on, y'all. Shout out to Leanne Jackson coming through with a $500 donation in the PayPal this morning. I appreciate it. She says, love your show, love what you stand for, Ticket. I appreciate it. I'm going to respond to you right now. Much love to you. I appreciate that. That's just the truth, though. Everybody talking about everybody else's situation. That's the problem, bro. That's why them niggas be getting mad. All these niggas get mad at me when I was banging and going hard on Diddy. You know why? Because black folk got to stand on black folk issues. Y'all don't want white people getting in the mix of black folk issues, but y'all ain't even man enough to deal with y'all own fucking issues. When you got creeps like this beating up people in your own goddamn community, people scared to stand up against that shit. Come on, man. This man, these people don't went over here and bothered all these other. Think about this. You don't make all these other countries mad at you now, because you over here meddling in other people's business. Currently trying to take another country. Another land, I should say, in Greenland. You trying to take another person's land and claim it as yours. But you ain't even got control of your own land. You can't. Think about this. Bag Chaser talk all this shit about, yeah, man, I live in the D, nigga. I be in the D. Can he walk down any street in the hood in Detroit and not fear for his safety of being robbed? When you can do that, tell me otherwise, nigga. Because all these other places they told y'all that we need to go bother people, I've walked in every fucking street and never had a problem, nigga. I've walked in Caracas, 12 o'clock at night, never had an issue. I've been in Damascus, Syria, 2 o'clock in the morning at the shawarma spot, never had an issue. Been in Beirut at the night spot, 1 o'clock in the morning, never had an issue. Been in Iran, been in Baghdad, Iraq. Thank God I never had an issue. The only place you see issues is in the United States of America. But they spend all the money and reach. They quick to help everybody else except for their own. They got trillions of dollars right now in aid and everything else ready to feed all these other people in other countries somehow. But they won't even feed their own people. And y'all wonder why crime is still high. Y'all wonder why unemployment is still high. Because people are starving. And when they feel like they have no hope, what do they start doing? Now they start robbing and stealing and killing. And that's just what's been going on. And when they see that, when your own country see that you can give trillions and trillions of dollars in aid to other countries, when you can give food, free food to other countries that do nothing for you when you're going through an issue, but you can't even do that to your own neighborhoods in the United States of America. They got roads that's jacked up still all around the United States of America. Everybody who's in here right now, you drove down the street this morning, got potholes all in that shit. They can't even fix the roads, but they got money to go to war. Think about what I just said. You see the same thing happen at the schools. Where's all the security at? Let's put it at every school. But they got enough soldiers to send all over these other countries and protect and go into all these other countries, but not even in your own schools to protect your kids. Peep what I'm saying to y'all. It should be 2 military officials at every single school protecting the youth. The same way at these universities. Nope. What are they doing? Going to other people's countries, bothering them. And then what do all these delusional people do? They come around here and tell y'all, hey man, but they're over there kicking. They're over there destroying each other. What you think they do in the United States of America? All you gotta do is go take your ass on YouTube, take your ass on X, and look at the news in Chicago, Detroit, Memphis, Miami, California. Just turn on the news every single day. Every day. You see something different. Every day. You see something different. Every day. You see different crimes being committed in the United States of America. But they ain't got the resources to fix that. Then you wonder, where's all your tax dollars going? In these wars? That's unnecessary. Bothering people that ain't bothering you. We went through a whole recession because George Bush said that Iraq had WMDs. Saddam. That was a lie. You guys remember that depression everybody went through? Well, everybody was losing their jobs and shit like that. Y'all remember that shit, right? Think about what I'm telling y'all. Think about what I'm telling y'all. So you see this type of stuff, and you're like, damn, dog. That's crazy. That's crazy. All these dudes have done nothing but served up lies to the American people. This man right here, you're supposed to be a man of honor. He ain't even have enough dignity to not get topped off in the goddamn Oval Office. He couldn't even get a hotel room. This dude, bro. And then lied about it. Didn't even have enough dignity to sit up there and say, you know what, man, I'm human. I did wrong. I apologize. He lied until the girl had evidence. His DNA. Make it make sense. They got all the answers on how to invade and go in all these other countries, but they can't even get y'all the Epstein files unredacted. Peep this shit. They can expose all this stuff in these other countries. You can't expose yourself. And y'all wonder why other countries call United States of America hypocrites. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. And people have sold out to these certain individuals. Not to what's right. Because I believe, and I'll say this forever and a day, if you have a person that's sick, let me say this to y'all. If I'm driving down the street and I see a young man or a young woman that look like they were in an accident, they look in bad condition, whatever, I'm stopping to help. That's the human side of you. I'm trying to do whatever I gotta do, CPR, whatever I gotta do to try to save your life. I'm stopping to help. That's just the human side. We have people that don't have that side. So what am I saying? I'm saying we have people that believe that if you don't have any type of health insurance, the hell with you. They don't care. I don't think that anybody should be able to walk to a hospital ready to drop dead and not be able to be saved. You deal with the rest later. We have taken the humanity out of being citizens. Now it's all about greed. It's all about money. It's all about who's richer than who got the bag, who's the bag chaser. But you a Christian Republican bag chaser, but you supposed to be chasing God. I'm just telling y'all, man. Y'all don't see through all this shit, man. I mean, be real with y'all about this, man. Like, you can miss me with it. Like, share, subscribe, man. That just was on my spirit to put to y'all today, man. It's on my spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's on my spirit, bro. Shout out to Clark Ware with the donation and the PayPal. Salute to you. I appreciate it. Much love to you. That's just on my spirit, man. To say this to y'all today. Because it's crazy to me how so many people are crashing out. They force y'all to pick a side. They turn politics into gang wars. Oh, you're a Republican bootlicker. You're a Democrat plantation. This is the type of shit they're pushing. Meanwhile, the people that's at the very top, they ain't really got no beef like that. Well, except for a few of them. Donald Trump really got beef with Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and George Bush. They really hate each other. But you seen this man Obama dapping it up, laughing and smiling. At a funeral. Right? Think about all the money they generate at these conventions. Democrat convention, Republic convention. It's all money, Lebowski. It's all everybody pushing their own narrative, their own line. Think about this. Donald Trump say that the president of Venezuela is going to face American justice, but this man got 34 felons and he's not in prison. Like, share, subscribe, man. Like, share. Bill Clinton was demanded to take his ass up there and answer questions about the Epstein files, he said, no, I ain't doing it. Just straight broke the law and told everybody in their face, I don't care. I ain't going up there. I ain't doing that shit. But if anybody else is subpoenaed to go to court and you don't show up, what's going to happen to you? They're going to issue a warrant and go arrest your ass immediately. Like, share, subscribe, man. Hey, I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the network. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, there are links. Get the free membership on our website. That way you guys won't miss any of our news update stories or videos. They're all on the website, ticketvmedia.com. You go over there. You can go right to the members part and become a free member. That way you guys will get all the updates. Also, straight drop weight loss formula. Make sure y'all go tap in and copy some of that, as well as subscribing to our podcast show. Link will be pinned at the top of the chat down there below. And also, we just appreciate all y'all who support the channel. Cash App, PayPal.